Do you feel like no matter what you do, you can't seem to go above C's? Well, you are in the right place. I'm Ari, and you probably know me as Study Tip from Instagram, and today we are tackling how to climb from C's to A's. It's not just possible, but also doable. So let's dive in. The first step to actually going from C's to A's is by observing what other students that perform well do. Ever notice how straight A's students react and analyze things, how they learn, what questions they ask, and how they behave in general? Well, I need you to look at them and observe, because they are your ticket to getting better grades. Because it works for them, so it's certain it will work for you. Not every straight A student is smart, I promise you this. It's just that they are efficient and they know what to do, but we will get more into that later on. So start thinking like a straight A student, and that will be your first step. And mimic them, but don't just copy them. It's about adopting a mindset that prioritizes learning and growth. So the first step to getting to that A is to understand the gap between the grade you have now and the grade you will get later on. If you have C's or D's or maybe E's, that means that you have potential to unlock when it comes to getting a better grade. And to jump from C's to A's, it's not just about putting in more hours, which many of you may think, but it's rather that you actually do effective work. 1 hour studied by an effective student can equal as many as 10 hours with a non-effective student. So let's break down on how you can bridge the gap between that C and an A. First, you need to set realistic goals. Goal setting is super important, but when it comes to goals, I see so many students have unattainable goals that are super unrealistic. And yeah, it's good to dream and it's good to aspire for something great, but you need to start with realistic goals. If a subject is challenging and it's very hard to get an A, maybe you should try aim for that B, because it will be an improvement and every improvement matters. And when you make that goal, make it smart, which means smart, measurable, achievable, reasonable, and time doable. So it basically means that you need to do something in a specific time period that is actually reasonable. So it could be going from a C to a B in a subject during this semester. And that leads me on to number 2, effective study habits. Now, when it comes to effective study habits, we tend to prioritize effective learning. Now, there are multiple techniques for this, but to start out, you need to prioritize active learning. It doesn't really matter what you do as long as it helps you do active learning. So it could be that you do flashcards with Anki or Quizlet, or that you do alerting, which means that you read information and then try to read it out again without the text and then fill the gaps that you don't know. Active recall is basically just quizzing yourself, and it is so good when you want to retain and memorize information. And avoid cramming. I know a lot of you cram, and I do as well, but it is so important to try to minimize this because it will only hurt you. Try with consistently studying during focused study hours and you will see the most progress. I promise you this. And then you need to start seeking help. And with that, it's not just about asking questions that you don't know. It could be to just get another perspective of the situation and try to learn from that. So my recommendation would be to form a study group with your friends or someone that you're close to and start studying with them so you can learn from each other. Or get a tutor if that's needed, because sometimes a change in perspective is all you need to grasp a complex topic. And this leads me on to number 4, time management. So time management, as you probably know, is very important to me, and it's the single reason to why I went from C's to A's. When it comes to time management, it is pretty simple to start. Everything you need to start with is to have a planner. It doesn't really matter if it's on a digital planner like Google Calendar or Apple Calendar or just a notebook where you plan everything, but you need to have it written down before you so you don't have it in your head all the time. And when it comes to tasks, you need to prioritize the big tasks first. I see a lot of my students that I coach that they don't care about the prioritization of the task. They just choose the easiest one, and that is the worst way to actually retain and memorize information and learn what you need to learn. So be efficient with your time and learn what is actually important for you. Now, this leads me on to number 5, and this is not just only school related. I would say this is important for all of us in general life. Number 5 is healthy lifestyle choices. So it doesn't have to be that you eat a salad every day. It doesn't have to be that you run a marathon every morning to get fit. But I would recommend 3 simple things. Exercise regularly, eat somewhat healthy, at least healthier than what you do now, and then get regular sleep. With these 3 combined, you will get so much better at retaining information and being productive. I promise you this. And this leads me on to another subject that is equally important. Number 6, dealing with setbacks. You have probably encountered many failures during your life, and I need to break it to you, everyone else has as well. That's why it's so important to actually do something about it. Just don't stand and complain about it. Do something about it. Analyze what you did wrong and minimize the risk that it ever happens again. Because only by analyzing and knowing what you did wrong, you can get better in school and better in life as well. And this leads me on to the last point of staying motivated. You need to celebrate every type of victory in your life. Let's say you walked 10,000 steps. Great, let's celebrate that. Let's say you went from a D to a C. Let's celebrate that. Celebrate every small improvement in your life, and you will start seeing so much more motivation coming through, because you need to keep eyes on the prize. And the only way of doing that is to actually have goals that are realistic and that you can achieve, and that you then can celebrate. So, wrap it up. Climbing from C's to A's is not just about a strategy, it's about consistency and your mindset as well. By adopting the habits of straight A students around you, you can get better and perform on their level. You just need to set realistic goals and be consistent with what you do. Remember, this is a journey, and you won't see any difference in one day or 1 week. It will take some months, and I promise you it's so worth it once you see the results. You've got this, and please hit that like button if you feel like this was important for you, and subscribe if you want to see more. Until next time, stay motivated and aim high.